Hey guys, this is a much different video as you can tell. Not only is it a figure review, but it's not even really a figure review of a quote-unquote adult collectible. Today I'm reviewing the Spin Master 6-inch Superman figure. So like everyone else probably, I was absolutely smitten by the trailer yesterday. That was so exciting. But also like everyone, I was absolutely craving just some merch, any merch from the movie. And it turns out that Spin Master actually released these for order yesterday on Amazon and they showed up today. So I saw that they were doing that on Twitter and I immediately jumped on it because I knew I wanted to be one of the first people to review this guy because I'm so excited for this movie. This guy retails for 10 bucks, so he's super affordable, which is why I got him. And he should be out pretty much every retailer, but like I said, Amazon's the first place that had him. This actually isn't the first merch from the movie I have. For Christmas, my brother actually got me this pin, this official DC Studios DC Shop pin. And also recently I picked up this Dan Mora Action Comics #1 variant cover for Superman Day. But it is super exciting to actually have an action figure from this movie. Granted, I really wish it was the McFarlane or any other quote-unquote, again, adult collectible brands, but you know, beggars can't be choosers, and I'm just so excited, it doesn't even matter. Taking a look at the packaging here, we have that beautiful DC Bullet logo, as well as the Superman promo art. Something I really enjoy about the packaging design is that they made the window actually shaped like crystals, like it's in the Fortress of Solitude or something, and in the background you actually have imagery of the Fortress of Solitude. It's a really pretty motif, and it looks like all of the Spin Master toys have this design on them. Like I said, this is 1 in 6 figures of the Collect to Build line to make robot #4. The figures in the line are Superman, Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner, Metamorpho, the Engineer, and Hawk 2. Or I mean, Hawk Girl, rather. The bottom of the box has nothing interesting, but without further ado, let's crack this guy open. Normally I would just cut to the open figure, but I actually want to take this time to give my input on the trailers since a lot of you really like when I talk about comics and whatnot. So I'll just try to get through a few bullet points about the trailer that I really liked without going too far deep into it. I loved the Superman and Lois dynamic. The fact that these two people agree fundamentally on things, but they have different perspectives. Superman, of course, being this larger than life figure, and then Lois Lane being somebody who's a reporter who really has to go through the system to handle these things. I think Superman getting involved with war is a really interesting plot point because ultimately he answers to nobody, and like he said, he fights for good, not necessarily a political agenda. The other thing I love is that Ma and Pa Kent are alive. I'm so happy that they're alive in this iteration. I really hope neither of them die in the movie, fingers crossed. I love having the dynamic of Clark being confused or being stressed out and going back to the old Kent farm and just talking to his parents for some advice. Something I thought was really cool was Guy Gardner using Green Lantern constructs, especially that hand thing. It's just so funny and also so on brand for Guy Gardner. I love that every single trailer has a shot of Lex Luthor absolutely tweaking out. It's so funny, it's so true to the character, and also it gives audiences a reason to why he actually hates Superman other than just, oh, he's a rich guy and he's evil. The scene where Superman falls in the crater and then the guy tries helping him up, obviously Superman doesn't need help, but I love the idea of it being more than just a hero and a victim or a hero and a common person dynamic. I like that it's more so Superman with the people rather than Superman and the people. Really quick thing, seeing Jimmy and Clark hanging out was so fun and so heartwarming. I love those two. Lastly, the suit looks really good. I've always been a little bit iffy on it, but all of the shots from this trailer looked really great. It's really giving me that strong man, larger than life feel, almost like Frank Quitely's art in All-Star Superman. And with the discussion of the suit, that gives me the perfect segue to talk about this figure. Okay, I wasn't really expecting anything by buying this figure. I mean, it's a cheap Spin Master $10 toy, but it's really cool to have a Superman toy of this movie that I've been following for, at this point, over 2 years. The details are actually pretty nice. It captures the costume pretty well. Something I noticed is that the blue is a significantly darker color than it is in the movie. It looks like all of the toys have this problem, including the McFarlane action figures. I think this might be a concept art kind of thing, I'm not really sure. Of course, he has a cloth cape and the logo on the back of the cape, but it's a cheap material, but you know, again, I can't ask for much. It's a $10 toy, come on. He comes with the torso of robot #4, and it's actually pretty well detailed, surprisingly. Getting him here with Superman, it looks like this guy is going to be a little bit shorter than the average figure, which is okay. The head sculpt itself is actually pretty brilliant. It looks pretty spot on to David Cornsweet. I know the paint job is not doing it any wonders, but trust me, when I repaint this guy, it's going to look a lot more like him. It captures his signature dimples and his very distinct nose shape, which are the two things I think are the most important aspects to capture about David Cornsweet's face, and I think they nailed it. Also, this entire figure is covered with texture, which at this point isn't too impressive because everything's done digitally now, so they can just tempo it on, but it's still really nicely done for a cheap toy. Even though it's probably the most controversial part of the suit, I will say they got all of the lines and the piping really well done. And the nice thing is, it's probably way less noticeable on this action figure than it is in the actual suit. So if you're one of the people online that hates this suit, you might funnily enough like this $10 action figure more than the actual screen used $1,000-some suit. Of course, this guy doesn't have very good articulation, but let's still go over it. There's a little foreshadowing for the end of the video where I do some head swaps. His head is actually on a ball joint. I know it doesn't look like it is, but it actually is. You still can't really do anything with it though, just pretty much swivel and maybe tilt a very, very tiny bit. His arms are on a hinge so they can reach over 90 degrees and also rotate 360 degrees around his body. Of course, a single jointed elbow and also a swivel. His legs can kick out to a full split and also go forward and back, and of course, single jointed knees and swivel. And that's everything. But you can still put him in the iconic Superman pose, and that's enough for me. Okay, so the comparison segment of this video is going to be very in-depth because I know a lot of people are going to see how this figure scales with other 6-inch action figures. I forgot to measure him for the video, but I measured him afterward and he comes in at roughly 6.125 inches if you round up. But here he is with the Mattel Movie Masters Man of Steel figure. This figure is very significant to me because I was like 7 years old when the Man of Steel movie came out and I've had this since. Definitely seen better days, but you know what? He was loved. Here's some Mafex Superman figures, some movie Marvel Legends, some comic/TV Marvel Legends, some Mezco Superman. You can see here I have to move the camera because he's so short. Some custom Marvel Legends. These guys actually have videos on the channel if you're interested. On the left, Mattel's DC UC Superman, and on the right, DC Collectibles DC Icon Superman. SH Figure Arts Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. McFarlane Toys Superman. On the left, Silver Age, and on the right, Action Comics 1000. Also, let me bring in the robot torsos, since I'm sure a lot of you are curious about that. It looks like he's gonna be too small for McFarlane figures if you were wondering. NECA and McFarlane Christopher Reeve. And lastly, here he is with one figure of each live-action Superman depiction I have. Okay, so I need to take the head off the body, one, because I want to show some head swaps, and two, because I'm going to repaint the figure for a future video. I'm just going to heat the figure up with a hairdryer so the plastic gets soft and I can take the head off. While we're here, I actually want to plug my Instagram, not only my Instagram, but the custom head sculpts I have for sale. If you guys have seen my videos, you probably know that I've done a custom Superman for all season Superman, and also just a custom general classic comic book Superman. But I actually have painted casts of both of those head sculpts available, so if you guys are interested, hit me up on Instagram. We can work something out. Okay, so now the head is soft enough for me to take it off, and first, let's try the Mafex Hush Superman. Now, Mafex Zack Snyder Superman, the peg is actually a perfect fit. Fun fact, David Cornswet actually screen tested in a variation of Henry Cavill's costume for this movie. Here's a random Marvel Legends body, you can see it's too small. Here's the DC Icons body, it's a pretty good size if I do say so myself. Lastly, here's a Marvel Legends suited body, and yeah, he's too small. So, is this figure worth buying? No, of course, unless you're super hyped for the movie like I am, and also of course unless you want to get some painting practice done like I do. But as an affordable toy for people who are younger or people who don't really care too much about detail or articulation, I think it's perfectly suitable. If you guys like this video, a like, a subscribe, a comment, and a follow on Instagram would be much appreciated. And also look out, or should I say look up rather, for my repaint of this head sculpt. I'll be doing a video on that sometime in the next week, I'm not really sure, it all depends on when I get the head sculpt done painted. But until then, I'll see you guys in that next video. Bye bye.